Good morning.
Beautiful.
This is our first ever Deal Share episode, guys. It took like a
Let's
year, right?
go. Finally.
Yeah,
Let the collaboration begin.
yeah, exactly. It's super exciting, and the fun thing about this is it doesn't matter where you're at in the deal, right? Like, I hope we hear everything from, hey, I'm trying to slay this amazing industrial listing and this is what I got, and the collaboration of us, helping figure that out, all the way to this is an industrial deal I put together and I successfully closed, and this is how we did it, and kind of like reverse engineer the success backwards. And hopefully we get them from all over the country because, as we all know, um, real estate is hyper local. Commercial and residential real estate is hyper local. So it'll be interesting to hear what everybody's got going on. With that being said, I'm going to pass it over to the two actually smart guys in this trio, and that's Javen and Frankie, and let you
Oh,
guys
stop.
run with it. Okay, so
You're making us blush.
I'm
I
going to
love it.
actually put the message in the chat to remind everybody, especially if you're coming on later after we've already delivered the message. If you are going to deal share, keep your clients' sensitive information private.
I was going to mention one thing, Frankie. I know you're going to be sharing and running us through a deal, but something that corporate's really hit on that I'm really excited about is I want us. We all have talked about this. We need to be more collaborative, and I think that this is the goal with the deal share. And Frankie's going to run us through this. Is it almost like an example of what it could look like? And like Pam mentioned, it can be from the very beginning to the very end, reverse engineer. But this group, some of the things that eXp commercial talked about is, there needs to be more engagement within the cause of just helping each other, and we have the interviews where we're doing all these different things, but this can really be a huge value add to your brokerage careers. And you can use this call to actually work through, like Pam talked about, live projects that you're trying to explore and get to the closing table. And Frankie, I'm excited to see this deal. I've seen it online. I've seen social media posts, but I haven't actually gotten behind the scenes and got the meat.
Yeah, definitely. So before we go to the active listings, I will share a little bit of our recent transactions. So more recently, we've done a lot of leasing. So there's a company we were working with who's expanding all over the nation right now. So we've successfully got them in over 12 or 13 different states in different lease transactions. So that's with eXp Commercial's license portability, working with a designated managing broker, depending on the state laws, how much we're actually able to do. But for the most part, the client, it's easier for the client. I know exactly what they're looking for. It's industrial, so it makes it a lot simpler, and we're able to retain a lot of that commission. So we have got them a location in Oregon, we've got them a location in Utah, got them a location in Vegas, Reno, Arizona, California. It's all over. So just wanted to share that because that is something recent and part of the deal share. I forgot about that, so that was fun. The next thing is we currently have an industrial development. We've been working with a developer for over a year and a half now. The project has gone through some different designs and a couple of different ownership entities and ideas and different things like that. But we're finally live on the market for the last couple of weeks. We're taking escrows and we're breaking ground in March. Delivery will be at the end of the year. And I will share my screen so you guys can see the property website, and I will take you through some of the marketing. All righty, there we go. So this is the stack at Inspirata. There's 29 of these units. It's right next to the Henderson Executive Airport. They size range from 1850. There's two 1850s, two 2300s, and then the rest are 3500 and just under 4000. So there's 29 units. We have a few of them in escrow already. We'll go to the pricing and availability sheet right here. You can see we have the floor plans, the offering memorandum, there's a video and all that good stuff. But this project is super unique and one of a kind to Vegas, but the proof of concept has been pretty successful throughout the nation. There's multiple different companies who are building 10s, 20. I've seen a couple who has 50, 60 of these throughout different locations, and they're killing it. It's the flex luxury warehouse kind of feel, like it's the man cave, it's the convenience, it's not, a necessary purchase per se. Some of these people are just renting these out for income, using them to store their cars, their RVs, and their high net worth luxury cars and like $100,000 RVs and things like that. Not just, your everyday person. But so this is what we have so far. We have these three in escrow. These three are reserved, just pending some modifications from the developer. Just the type of transaction is unique too. So it's an opportunity for investors and owner users to purchase a product directly from the developer. Typically, more often than not, you're going to be leasing these products or having to purchase through a resale or after, a tenant leases expires or whatever the case may be. Very, very uncommonly do you get a chance to purchase directly from the developer and get build outs and designs and anything of that nature you want on the upfront. So most of these are priced between 340 and 380 a square foot. This comes with a mezzanine, automatic roll-up door. Also, it comes with a 4,600 square foot clubhouse that's exclusive to the owners. It's 3 stories. There's conference rooms, offices, and also a rooftop deck available for the owner's use for free up until a certain amount of hours, and then they'll be charged per hour. It's kind of also going to be flexible until the new owners decide, because there will be an association that is included, which covers the gate, because the whole project is gated, surrounded by a wall, an 8-foot wall. So it's going to be a really slick and interesting product. Here are all of the different floor plans. All of our site plans are approved. CC&Rs are recorded. Rules and regs are recorded and approved. Everything is ready to go. Sorry, my alarm's going off. Here's the offering memorandum.
Hey, Frankie.
This is fully live if you guys want any more. Yep.
I was just going to point out, and I put it in the chat, what Frankie's showing you guys. This is all from Build Out. So I'm not sure how much or how little you guys use Build Out, but Build Out does some really slick offering memorandums. And they're very versatile. You could even like go and create extra pages for your OMs in Canva and drop them in. We thought that we could do a better job than Build Out. We spent a bunch of time, energy, and money attempting to do that, and we went right back to Build Out. And Build Out also gives you this property website that Frankie's showing you. So, there's oftentimes we have access to all these tools, and we might only be using 5 or 10% of them, right? But everything Frankie is showing you, I want you guys to understand, through eXp Commercial, you have access to all of this as well.
Yep. And we built it ourselves, so it's not rocket science. Like she said, we were trying to go get a more top tier, high end model or marketing plan without having to pay the big bucks with like the big bucks firms, and it's just doesn't make financial sense as far as the quality of what we were getting versus this. This is just as good, at least in our opinion.
This is clean. This is really clean.
So let me get out of this. There we go. Now we're back to here.
So Frank, are you breaking them down in phases? Are they being built, like, are they already built? Are they built to suit, or
yes and no?
they all developed already?
They'll be completely turnkey when they're delivered at the end of the year, November, December 2024. They are demised into 29 units that you can purchase as an investment or an owner user, and you can build it out specifically to whatever you need. For a short time, depending on what it is, the developer is allowing some slight modifications in the early rounds, but each time you change something, it's just another permit. So at some point, we're going to cut that off just so we can build,
Yeah,
because we're not doing phases. We're building all 29 and we're delivering all 29 at the end of the year all at the same time.
beautiful.
So it's going to be, yeah, it's going to be quick. It's going to be clean, and everybody's gonna love it because it's just there's nothing like it. There's two other products here in Vegas that are older, and there's a handful of them that turn over every couple years. Never, very rarely. We've
Hmm.
sold a couple of them, but it's just a product that's sorely, sorely needed in Vegas. Just anything owner user specifically, but especially a product like this that's flex and has
Mm.
a clubhouse is never before seen here in Vegas. It's gated,
Yeah, that's
very extremely rare. So, and the pricing, very, very good comparative comps as far as standalone one-offs owner users purchasing flex spaces like this. The price per square foot's right on the money. And proof of concepts throughout the nation, of course, it's going to vary extremely between construction costs, comps, and all that. But there's proof of concepts for 500, 600 a square foot. Some are less, some are more, some are right on there. So it's just going to vary, but it's definitely a good bang
mm,
for your buck. We're confident in the price per square foot and the future appreciation. Here's a quick 1 minute
mm.
video of the project. Let me throw a little music on for you.
Frankie, what company did you use to hire to create these renderings?
It's the from the developer. It's their through their architect.
And guys, the good thing is a lot of times, if you're already if the developer is working with an architect, obviously a lot of those renderings are already going to be done. But there's a lot of amazing resources if you can give plans and dimensions to groups. There's a lot of offshore companies that will do renderings like this too for a project that you have that may not be as expensive as the architect doing it if you're in one of those situations. So, just to encourage you guys, right, Frankie? I mean,
Yeah,
obviously, if the architect's already on it, yeah.
yeah, no,
Um,
most definitely. We previously had it was an entire 3D mapping kind of thing through RealNext. They have good optics, and yeah, there's so many other companies and resources that you can get rendering, walkthroughs. What's the other one? Matterport type
yeah.
things. So yeah, definitely explore your options if needed. But like you said, we already were kind of lucky that they had a connection who could provide us with that. And then I want to emphasize on the area. So we mentioned it's right next to the Henderson Executive Airport, so very convenient for people flying in there, want to park a car, whatever the case may be. But it's also right next to Haas Automation. That is a ginormous auto part manufacturing company that's supposed to be employing 1,000 jobs. Is that what it was, Aunt Pamela?
Actually, they went from 1,000 to 2,000 because they
Oh,
were going to build in phases. So the original phase was going to create 1,000 jobs. They've decided to just go full bore, build the whole entire plant. So they will employ 2,000 people, and they also own a Formula One racing team. So if you know anything about F1, to like it is just next level wealth to own a
Hmm.
Formula One racing team. So we're super excited to have them as neighbors.
right. Yeah, I love it. And
Hmm.
this is where the writers practice facility is. And Pam loves to point out to everybody, they're not at the stadium, which is over here. They're there a couple games, 10, 12 games a year, whatever it is. But they're here 90% of their time. The Raiderettes over there, so even more of a reason they're going to be down in this area. Amazon's facility, the M is expanding. The Stations Casino identified a location down here. So many projects. And this is right outside of Anthem and Sun City, Seven Hills, which is basically the Summerlin of Henderson. It is the lowest vacancy rate across Nevada and Las Vegas, the highest rents per square foot, growth quarter per quarter, all of it. You name any stat, they are leading Vegas and Nevada in this little submarket. So many projects are being built, pre-leased, etc. All of it. Millions of square feet were built in the last several years, couple years, excuse me. Across the way from Southern Highlands, and then Speed Vegas is a huge racing speed track that you can rent and drive exotic cars and luxury cars, and that's just 5 miles down the road. You know, as you can see here, the airport's only 17 minutes, the strip 20 minutes, downtown 25, 23, convention center. So superb location. And we'll
Hey,
have
Frank, could
unobstructed views of the strip. And that's
could
it.
could you give us like just 2 minutes on so they're really built for the owner user. However, it is hard sometimes for, I mean, these are perfect for small business. If you look at the back end of our marketing, you'd be shocked at who's dangling around these. We have like private ambulance companies in the city of Henderson that are looking at them. We have businesses that are relocating here from the Midwest, from California, biotech firms. It's a small, like, people. How we do business has changed fundamentally. We all know this, and we talk about it all the time, right? It's not that office is technically in the tanker. It's that the type of office that is in demand right now isn't your 20, 30-year-old typical office like the New York City and Chicago is saturated with, right? So those are like really big conversations. So we're getting small businesses that are looking to relocate here that on the back end of all of our marketing. So Frankie, what if I wanted to invest in one of these? Would that be a smart investment? And why?
Yeah, so we're definitely getting a lot of interest from investors. You know, of course, the timing doesn't always match up with a lot of these guys. Every one of them's typically a 1031 and they don't want to wait. But, you know, theoretically, you could reserve a unit, hold until the delivery date. You get it pre-leased, and then as soon as you deliver a fully delivered product, you'll have an income producing tenant in there, and it's a Class A product, so you'll be able to get, you know, a Class A tenant, 5-10 year lease term. Rents are $1.50, $1.75 on the conservative end. And, you know, with a product like this, it's probably going to be closer to $2 a square foot. So easily we'll be getting a 5 to 7% return on your first year.
Awesome. Does anyone have any questions before we open up the floor for our next deal submission?
And of course, you know, those are all rough numbers, but that's what we've been pretty much talking about with investors who have been considering purchasing it and leasing it out. Those are the numbers that we've been discussing. And if anybody wants the comps, proof of concept links, we're happy to provide all that extra stuff too. We just obviously don't have it on the front facing website, but for the people who are more interested, we can provide those.
And we have a question here from Natasha. Natasha, I'm going to actually put the offering memorandum in the chat, and that'll answer your question.
Oh, I didn't even see the chats. Sorry.
That's okay. She's asking how many square foot on average is each unit.
Gotcha. On average, it's probably like 3,600 square feet, but most of the units are either 3,500 or 3,999. Blair, I'll send you the OM right now.
Want. That's always a good one too, Charles.
Right. All right. So who's out there that has a deal they want to share with us in any stage of the game?
Yeah.
Oh, Charles. I get it now.
Oh, a want. Yes. Currently working with a partner. We've already closed about, I think, 30 million in these deals. They're looking for land with freeway visibility, and they're developing Tesla superchargers, etc. And we've got about 7 in escrow currently with this company. They've got over 3 million square feet of 3PL. They're involved in a lot of things, but this company has their own container cargo ship. It is Chinese based, and so they have a pretty sizable budget. They're real players. They, you know, if there's too much hair on the deal, they will, you know, exercise their rights and back out if it gets really bad. We had one deal where, there was just too many, the ingress and egress and I think they were trying to wholesale the deal, and there was some issues with some easements and things. But if it's a developable deal, and they'll take anything, they'll take something that's entitled or not entitled. They've spent anywhere from 7 million to 28 million on a deal. So any kind of freeway visible type of property, and it doesn't have to be in the middle of the desert. It could be, infill, and have an existing building on it. So all cash. Of course, they want a decent due diligence period. But yeah, anywhere in the United States.
Charles, what's the minimum amount of land that they need for that?
Yeah, I would say unless you've got at least an acre and a half or 2 acres in an infill type of situation, they would do it. If you're out in the middle of nowhere or an hour past the middle of nowhere, maybe at least maybe 10 or 15 acres. But that's the concern more is a viable property that has freeway visibility. If it's near a freeway or next to a freeway and there's these crazy walls and they can't put signage or something close to it and it can't be seen, they probably won't be interested. So the key is actual freeway visibility. Again, we've proven, clients, and we've done several deals with them already. So I know it's kind of a vague requirement, but anyway, think of it, if you ever drive by a piece of, an area and say, hey, I wish I could charge my Tesla here. Well, maybe that might be.
Love
Hey,
it.
it's becoming
on the way to
becoming a
Vegas.
problem.
Yeah.
So
No, and they're popping up everywhere. This company
Mhm.
is substantial though.
so Charles,
Are they a third party, or how are they affiliated? Are they affiliated with Tesla, or is it completely third party? Like
No, they're not
how does that
affiliated with
work?
Tesla. And the reason why I mentioned 3PL is they have so many warehouses in a product that they create,
Mm.
which they create these desks that move up and down. They're motorized. You can have one in
Yeah.
your home. And they've had to set up their own distribution. And with that, they decided, well, we'll just get into the business. So they have over 3 million square feet of 3PL properties around the United States. And so they kind of use that to their advantage.
Beautiful.
So Charles, I'm sorry, I have just one question. I could be like behind here. So it's kind of a multifaceted, multi-use type property. And I know obviously zoning is different across the nation, but
Right.
is it most important that they would be able to get in like heavy manufacturing zoning, or
No,
what
it could be a
oh,
retail use.
okay.
They're in projects of building a large truck stop. Anything that a lot of these pieces of land that sit for 10 years and no one knows what to do with. Now that,
A few of
supercharging is
those.
the thing to have. Or, you'd be surprised how few places there are on the way to the Mexican border. I mean, there are a few truck stops here and there, but that's a very viable kind of development these days. To put something that might be bigger and better than the older one across the street. So,
Love it.
Charles, Alabama works.
I'm sorry?
Alabama, where is Alabama?
Anywhere in the United States. Now there are restrictions. It's a Chinese company, so there's a few states that they might have problems in purchasing, and they know that, but they'll just look elsewhere to be able to buy. So I don't think Alabama you guys have any problem. Hi, Manisha. Good to see you here.
Hey, Charles, good to see you too.
All right. And I think Blair was up next. Can you give him rights to screen share?
I think he has them. Anyone can share.
Oh,
Just
sweet.
or
All
not.
right. Well, I'm excited. Blair has a 68 acres industrial opportunity zone. Floor is yours.
Ooh.
Can you see it? What happened here? It was there.
Nope.
There we go.
There we
Got
go.
it?
There it
Perfect.
is.
Perfect. Boom.
Newton, North Carolina is just outside of Charlotte. It is all flat, vacant land right now. Norfolk Southern Railway has a main line right next to it. We've had conversations with Norfolk Southern. They will put a spur in there. If you've done this before, which I have, the railway will work a couple of ways. You can either pay to put the spur in and they will lease it back from you, or they will do the reverse. They'll put it in and lease it out to you. As you may have noticed, I went by it pretty fast. This is in an opportunity zone. So it has all of that, all of those benefits available to you. Interestingly enough, there is an inland port, which you don't see very often. And that adds kind of an interesting angle to this particular opportunity. The labor market is just phenomenal. You've got over 405,000 people within a 45-minute drive time. That's your available labor force. So it's the map on the right shows how far that zone goes. Short, sweet, and to the point. We have the OM available. If you'd like that, feel free to get in touch with me and I'll be happy to shoot it out to you. And any questions?
I love it.
Love it. Beautiful.
Any freeway visibility?
I can see a freeway from here.
I thank you for the opportunity. Appreciate it.
Yeah,
Blair,
thank you, Blair. Appreciate it.
thank you for sharing. Leah Parker is actually one of our advisors and partners, and she mentioned this deal here, and I would love to connect with you and get some more information about it.
Absolutely. Blair.gilbert@expcommercial.com.
Awesome. Thank you.
See, and that's where the magic happens. This is great.
For sure.
Is there anyone else in the chat? Because I know, I think Jeremy Glore, I talked to him before we went on, and he had some things to share.
He's left.
Jeremy, are you here? Oh, darn it. He had a haircut this morning, conflicting appointments. Darn it. Okay, so we will bypass. Frankie, do you know of any of his off-market deals that might be worth sharing?
Yeah, we got a couple off-market industrial opportunities here in Vegas. Most of them are going to be single tenant investments, triple net lease, 4 to 7 years left on the lease term on average. Let me see if I can pull up any of our exact documents. Let me see. Well, one we have is it's leased by that company I was mentioning that we're representing, expanding all over the nation. So very high credit tenant, leased 2 years ago. So they have 3.5, I think almost 4 years left on the lease term. It is leased at $1.10, $1.15, just under 13,000 square feet, triple net. So at 5.6 cap, you're probably looking around $3 million off the top of my head. And that one is interesting because they lease the entire thing, but they are subleasing a portions of it. So they have about a quarter of it subleased right now, and then another quarter of it is available for sublease. But they pay the entire rent, and just off of their income would be the opportunity, anyways. So that's what everybody has.
If I can just add to that, I think that is like a sleeper location. And I just, the knack of mine, I kill it on sleeper locations. I don't know why. When you can see a property and you can see its highest and best use and something that's overlooked by the masses, This is just literally one of those sleeper locations. The area is an older area in Las Vegas. However, it's also right on the cusp of new redevelopment that the county has dictated for opportunity zones. It's close to the Raiders Arena, Allegiant Stadium. So it's a really interesting property. It's a sleeper location, and somebody is going to slay it. You know, I see this property being redeveloped in the next 5 to 10 years. It's going to be killer.
Yep. I love it.
I've got an off market. You have another one, Frankie? Sorry.
Yeah, no worries. I was going to say, so if anybody has investors looking for off market opportunities like that in the $3 million range, definitely let us know. And I had one more. It's not off market, it is on market. We were in and out of escrow. It's an office, multi-tenant office building here in Vegas, Class B, central part of Vegas on Sahara and Rainbow. 7 minutes from the Sahara and I-15, which is the biggest intersection in the state of Nevada. There's 50% occupied on the second floor. The first floor is completely vacant, brand new renovations, currently built out as a co-working space. It was owner operated by the owners, who are now getting out of the game, just gonna get completely cash out and just travel and just enjoy their retirement. So we completely ended the leases for the month to months on the co-working, and we were in escrow, out of escrow, going over a couple of offers, but we're listed at 3.2. But they are negotiable. So if anybody has, like I said, in the $3 million range, we have a couple opportunities in Vegas.
I've got an off market assemblage I put together with a partner. I don't have any formal material on it, but if any of you guys work with regional developers on the East Coast for like high density townhomes, multifam, we've put together about 30 acres that has some. It's right off of the interstate I-85 in a submarket of Charlotte, in Rowan County. It's China Grove. It's tiny, but their population is supposed to double over the next 5 years. There's Macy's just put a 1.4 million square foot distribution facility, like literally right across the street from where this land is. There's a huge housing shortage, a ton of demand for housing. The city, the council is on board with it. It's in an industrial commercial like overlay of what they want. There's basically on the east side of 85, they want everything to be industrial commercial, but we've kind of got them on board with, hey, north half residential, bottom, southern half industrial, because we've got some land for sale for industrial development right below it, but roughly 30 acres. We're still adding to it. We've already closed on the land, the 30 acres, so it's there, it's done. We haven't gone through any entitlements yet, but there is sewer available. There's not water. We explored doing like but we're trying to make the project big enough to justify bringing a water main to the site. That's the goal. So we keep adding to the assemblage to make it worth it, basically. But the good thing is we've assembled this land for a relatively low price per acre. So I think there's enough room there to where we would sell it off to a developer. They could pull in the water and do a project. But high level, submarket, fastest growing, we have the most residential growth and demand in all of Rowan County. It's about 30 minutes outside of Charlotte. There's a ton of jobs coming. There's not any housing, and it's right on 85. So yeah, if anybody has regional developers looking to do townhomes or potentially multifamily, but really they want like a nice townhome community with a few amenities, simple stuff like a park, a trail. We've already done wetland studies. We've got surveys. We've got we did go through and do perk tests just in case if we want to do like a nice single family subdivision. I'm not in residential at all, but land is land, so I'll take land. But yeah, if anyone has people looking for that, it's a great little town outside of Charlotte. I could send you info. We have materials, due diligence materials on it.
I saw somebody post on the CCIM forum, like it was a while back, but they were posting like over and over and over again, pretty similar to that. So I'll send you his information. He's a developer.
Are y'all going to be there in spring? Who's going to be there? I'm taking my test. I want a hug.
Beware in Vegas.
Yeah, or in Nashville for the. I've got my portfolio approved and everything, so I'm going in spring to hopefully
Hmm.
lock it up, be
Nice.
done.
Nice. No,
Is
no.
anybody going to be there?
What?
Blair?
You're
Come on,
gonna
are you
keep.
going to be there, Pam?
I'm going now. I'm going to support you and
Okay.
celebrate. And get pinned.
Oh,
Who's
no
pinning you?
pressure.
Who's
I don't
pinning
know
you?
yet. I don't know.
I'm pinning
I have
you.
no clue.
Can I pin
You
you?
could pin me? That'd be so fun. Yes.
Yes.
I guess. I'll ask. I will ask. I will
Okay.
ask.
That's awesome.
All right.
Jabin,
That'd be fun.
check the chat. Jabin, check
Do
the
what?
chat.
Got a couple more.
Oh, yeah. Interesting. Yeah, I'll get with you on that. We're basically so just to disclose too, I have ownership. I'm a partner in it. But whatever, we're either looking to bring in a partner to develop it. We put in the land as equity at a reduced basis. But we are equally interested in just making a quick buck and rolling and letting somebody else just take that on. So, yeah.
Even I have a couple developers that I might be able to connect you with, so we can talk.
Please, yeah, yeah. And the good thing is, I'm really good with the council and planning board, and we have a very good feel on what they would approve, what they wouldn't. Like I've been hanging out with them for long enough now to know. So, anyways, yeah, that's good, Blair. I'll reach out to you after this call.
Sweet.
Awesome. And, we're 15 minutes to the hour. I want to make sure we get to everybody. Vu, you also had a want to share, and then Charles has an on market to share after that.
Yes, I'll keep this quick. So we have a 1031 exchange with some of our clients. They actually are based out in California. They're actually my wife's family company. So they're actually doing a over $20 million 1031 exchange of a strip
Beautiful.
center out there. And they're looking to potentially invest in somewhere in the Southeast, particularly is where they're looking. They're open to other markets if you guys are in that market and have an opportunity, but it'll likely be maybe broken up into a couple properties. So maybe something in the $5 to $10 million range, even up to 20 millions. But industrial specifically, it can be, they really are more conservative with their investments. So something that's, if they have a long-term tenant already in there in place, a nice strong lease, stabilized, and needs to really be ideally cash flowing when they purchase it. So that's the asset they're looking for. If you guys have opportunities, we can start presenting things to them. They will need to identify properties probably April, May, get a good idea, because June will be when their 1031 exchange will occur. So that's
Awesome.
it.
Hey,
Big up,
actually, well,
guys.
Never mind. Yes, that's awesome. I've got one more thing that came to mind. I've got a fully stabilized. Well, they're not long-term leases, but it's like 21,000 square feet. It's industrial, retail, and medical office in Kannapolis, North Carolina. It's another sub-market right outside of Charlotte. Their research campus blowing up. It's anybody that knows about that area. It's about 2.5 minutes outside of downtown Kannapolis. But it's me and a partner. We're selling it. I think somebody can scoop it up and get a pretty good deal on it because we got it for a good price, and we went through, took 18 months, repositioned it, renovated it, evicted tenants, signed new leases, just stabilized it. It was about 60% occupancy. Now it's like 95%. It's, NOI is going up consistently right now. I don't have I'm waiting on numbers for NOI because it's kind of just gotten in the last couple of months sort of stabilized where we have enough a track record. But if the point is, if somebody needs a quick stabilized, it's not got credit tenants or anything, but the property and the site itself is really good. Plumbing's good, electrical's good, roof's good. We've got management in place. It's completely passive. It's grossing about 21K a month right now. I got to get the NOI numbers, but
Yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah. but if anyone has just a quick need for a 1031, just stabilized income producing management in place in an appreciating market with good fundamentals, with no issues building wise. That's a really good deal. And I'm thinking about putting it on 10X. I don't know what your guys' experience has been or if anyone's used 10X. Has any, yes, what
Yeah,
thoughts real quick? I
it's
don't want to take a lot of time, but
for sure. Well, so basically, the biggest thing is to consider is if that's the type of transaction you want to do, because it's essentially the same as a diamond or platinum ad through LoopNet. It's the same retargeting, it's the
okay.
same reach, it's the same level of marketing, except for you're obviously in an auction format. You'll have a minimum reserve price the 10X background people will actually need to agree with you. So if they don't agree in the valuation, then you need to.
Correct.
But other than
Yeah.
that, it was good for us. It was good for that type of property that we needed to get to the masses, and it was a distressed, undervalued property. But we had a good time with it.
Interesting. Okay, cool. Yeah, I talked to their rep.
Super quick on what Frankie was talking about, the target marketing. It's just really interesting. So basically what 10X and CoStar have mastered is like, when you say something and your iPhone is around, and you might talk about kitchen cabinets, and then all of a sudden when you're on the internet and you're on Instagram and you have a sponsored ad for kitchen cabinets at Lowe's, it's crazy, right? Well, that's what they do. That's what they do is they get your property in front of people where they are that are actually looking for your property in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
So the marketing is superb. You're going to pay for it though.
That's true.
Yeah.
So
what do they charge? Is it 5% or how much is it?
It's a tiered basis depending on the price point. It varies between 0.5% to 4 or 5 or something, I think. Yeah, depending on the price point.
So it's just
this one's in like the 2s.
Yeah, and it's just a matter of if it's going to like drive that price where you need it to be, and you can cover the delta with the cost of the auction, it's bar none 100% worth it. Just got to be great property.
Yeah, I'm gonna look into that this week.
Yeah, or you pay the what is it, $5,000 or whatever it is for the platinum ad. So it's just
Yeah.
I have the slideshow and deck on the entire kind of timeline and what it costs, because like Pam says, it's like a diamond ad, except they pay for all of it, and if the deal doesn't actually sell, you don't have to pay them.
It's true.
But the key is to agree on that price, of the and if you guys are in agreement, then it works out pretty well, and they've got a pretty good hit rate once it sells to close. I think like 90% closing rate or something.
Yeah. Yep.
So that's that's what they said is they'll come in too and kind of have a evaluation period with you where they pull everything, comps, values. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look into that this week. Thank y'all for that.
Yeah, definitely. All right, Charles, what on-market property you got for us?
All right. Well, I don't think it would be an ideal 1031 deal because it's going to be delivered vacant, but not too many vacant properties that you could actually buy that are somewhat state-of-the-art. So 32 clear, it's a 60,000 square foot, 32 clear building in Stafford, which is right outside of Houston. 20 doors. Let's see. Here's some photos. Pretty modern EFSR. It doesn't have a ton of power, but it's a good building with a lot of truck turning radius and land here. Don't have a ton of interior shots on this, I don't think, but let's see.
Beautiful though.
Yeah, I mean it's state of the art. They got some offices, about 2,800 square feet. So
love it.
Yeah, wow.
The price is fairly aggressive, so in our off-market kind of talk, it could be gotten less, I could say. Anyway, here's the map area. If that's an area that you're familiar with, I'm in Texas, and bring on a buyer, and we'll help you tour the facility. Obviously, I'm in California, but the great thing by the eXp commercial is we can go 50 states.
Exactly. I love that.
Oh, baby.
Do you have, is there more information available?
Yeah, I could send you a little mini OM on it.
Yeah, please do. I think I might have an interested party for you.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you so much for sharing that. It's awesome. Is there anybody else before we start wrapping it up?
I don't know about y'all, but this is great. I love
Yeah,
the energy.
I would encourage everybody to follow up in either in an email or in our group in our workplace chat if you guys wanted to follow up with whatever your want or ask was, just for the group to go back to if they ever needed to remember it or whatever, or we
I
can
like
communicate
that.
there just to keep it top of mind. But I know we're all emailing on the
Mhm.
sites now, getting the information, and that works too. But just a thought.
Yeah. So you
I like
guys, what
that. Good
I'm gonna do
idea.
is I'm gonna share the link to our page on Workplace. If you're not a member, join the page. Like, just get in there and get in on the conversations, because that's where we're going to keep you up to date to not only what's going on, but we can communicate with each other on chat. I know that chat gets overwhelming. At least workplace chat gets overwhelming for me. Um, so I have to pick and choose what I want to be a part of and what I'm going to pay attention to. But like, this is something that I wouldn't miss, right? This is where the gold happens, being able to collaborate with other brokers out there who are in the same arena, and you can collaborate with and actually get deals done. Listen, we're rainmakers in this industry, right? Like, you got to make it rain. What's the percentage of deals that are done off market, Frankie?
I would say it's probably 80% of the transactions are done off market.
And like off market this way, between broker to broker, right? And
Or
so,
in house, yeah, or you do it yourself. Like I have a seller and I just find buyers myself. Yeah.
Mhm.
yeah, so that is the link to our workplace group. If you join the page, then you're automatically in the chat as well. And so we can easily communicate with each other that way. Put your property information, your wants, needs, your offering memorandums in there, and watch the magic happen.
Yep. And a lot of the times it's a preference to the seller, right? Sometimes sellers don't like going on the market. It's just sometimes that's just their how they feel. I don't know. They might not even have a reason for it. Sometimes it's because of sensitive operations or whatever else. So you definitely want to be able to
Mhm.
have that avenue to sell off market. Absolutely.
Yeah, you guys check your chat. I sent you the 3 slide
Perfect.
shows for 10x that might be interesting. That was
Awesome.
from
Oh,
Thank
nice.
you.
last
I
year.
just
So
downloaded them.
Beautiful.
Love it.
Boom.
Charles for
This
the
has been
win.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Charles.
Does anybody out there have any questions? Any questions at all? I mean, we've got 5 minutes. Might as well use them.
I had a question about what you guys were just talking about in terms of selling properties off market. I know that most of them are happening off market. So when do you decide when to list a property with a client? Because most of all of our buyer clients are wanting something off market. That's what they tell us first a lot of times. So when do you decide that it's worth paying the fees to list your properties?
Charles is smiling.
oh no, whenever I hear that, I know that they've been working with another broker and I've already scoured everything on market. So, right. I want something off market. Why? Because I've seen everything on market. So, how did you see everything on market? Well,
True. Oh, that's true.
but I mean, I love to list stuff ASAP, unless I've got somebody in place. Uh, I think a lot of the things that sometimes a trap we fall into, we get someone say, "Hey, I've got a client looking for off market," and there's another broker, and that broker received that lead from another broker. I mean, where is the deal?
Oh
How am
my
I going to fit
gosh.
in, right?
The
And you,
worst.
you start running it, and then you're like, wait a minute, what am I doing here? I'm helping someone else find an off-market deal. Well, if I get the listing, it's great, but if I go find and source another broker's off-market deal, it happens once in a while, and
Get a pat on the back.
yeah,
Hey,
that's about it,
thanks,
right?
Charles. Appreciate it.
But
Got you next
yeah,
one.
it's I mean, I love working with people that need properties and not want properties. So I tend to I'm not a
Mhm.
I'm not super crazy about
Hey,
investor deals. I'd rather work with an owner user, but it's kind of my angle. But yeah, I mean, I would put a property ASAP if I have nobody with, that's looking for an off market deal personally. Yeah, I might throw it out to some brokers, and some friends, but I get that on the market ASAP.
Yeah, I was going to add too, just I love that answer. It's a, it definitely is a case by case basis, but more often than not, you always want to get it on the market as soon as possible, unless that specific owner or seller's needs, reflects otherwise. Unless there's some reason you shouldn't be going on the market right now, they need time for their business to move out or whatever the case may be. But yeah, unless you have a buyer of this is the perfect property for, or a specific broker who will bring a buyer, there is no reason to wait. Yeah.
I just want to add to that. I love all these answers. And in my experience, most off market deals are not because a seller wants to sell. It's because a broker has cold called somebody and convinced them that if they got them price X, they would sell. And price X is typically overinflated, right? So a lot of these off market deals, they're not because somebody has to sell or they wants to sell. It's because some broker got lucky on a cold call, lucky enough to at least get an owner of a property to say, yeah, you can market it off market. And if you get X, I'll sell it. They're not always the best deals, right?
Exactly. It's true.
Thank you.
Yeah, there's great deals that I've found for investors on market. It's a lot of times it's just people overprice stuff too, and they list them too high. It's like, well, that's the problem. Is like, oh, I want something off market. Well, if the brokers list the deals and price the deals on market appropriately, the on market deals are just as good.
Some people are just so conditioned to not want anything off market. Those are so but it's also another case by case basis, right? Nothing is absolute. So you could always find a good deal on market. You could find a bad deal off market. Like there's always the variables and the exceptions.
100%.
Hey, buddy of ours just picked up a property on the MLS. So some residential agent, yeah, literally some residential agent didn't know what she had, listed a piece of land, underlisted it by 50% of the value. He swooped in on day one, gave her a price offer.
I love that.
He flipped it for
I love that so much.
What he paid for it, right? You never know where you're going to find a deal.
And don't reveal these secrets, Pam. I've run into that too because you get a lot of inexperienced people and they throw it on MLS of all things, right?
Resi commercials.
Yeah,
that's true. If you wanted to be, be taking advantage of anybody, not recommending that. They don't know what they're doing, and they're listing big commercial properties, and it's oftentimes 20%.
I might have to pull an MLS report.
Dude, I found some diamonds in the rough, that's for sure. Especially the quasi commercial properties that shouldn't even be in the MLS at all.
Hey,
Siri, remind me to pull an MLS report.
Well, I have a quick question before. Very quick. So I've noticed that here in Alabama, a lot of sellers that I talk to, they don't want to have exclusive listing. They want to have open contract. Is that normal, or is it just me? Am I not talking to them right, or would you all think?
As far as Alabama, I don't have that much experience with Alabama. It could definitely be a mindset or, a rebuttal for them, specifically how you're talking to them. I'm not exactly sure. I definitely have dealt with people who want to only deal with non-exclusives. And there's different ways to object that, but on an overall basis, I'm not exactly sure why they would be saying that per se.
If I may, from an old timer's point of view,
please do.
It's up to you to justify why you need to be the exclusive representative. That's what you're doing. That's what you're in business for. That's what you got your education for. I'm sorry, but you've got to be able to sell yourself and what you bring to the table.
Right.
That's just my
Yeah.
Well, Blair, what you're saying is be confident.
Absolutely. No, it's
going for the kill.
Simple.
Yeah.
Listen, one of the things that we talk about on my team, and I know we're over time, so we'll make this super quick, is that, you have to have your like minimum standards, right? Like, what is your time worth? And if the deal is non-exclusive and you still feel like it's worth your time, then great, awesome. I mean, at least you're gonna at least get some type of commission commitment, right? At least get that. However, you got to have your minimum standards, and what you're selling is not you. What you're selling is your value proposition and the problems that you solve. When you take a non-exclusive, your hands are tied in a lot of ways. You're not able to market the property. We just talked about, get that property on the market, get it out to the masses as soon as possible. So your hands are tied in so many ways. So maybe concentrate a little bit on selling the solutions that you provide by being an exclusive and how you're not able to do that otherwise. And possibly that would support in getting over some of those hurdles. But it's always about selling the solutions that we provide.
I love that. And last thing, because I know we're over time. And a lot of 90% of the time, at least in my experience, the sellers, the owners, the buyers, the tenants, they don't care about your company, your track record. More than 99% of the time, they just got to work with somebody that they trust. So as long as you can create a relationship and create some sense of trust, then they'll be a client forever.
Yeah, that makes sense.
All right, guys. Well,
Convince people to trust you with $5-10 million worth of real estate. So not always just one phone call.
Yeah, for sure. This was so much fun, guys. I love it.
Thank you, everybody, for your time and participating.
And like I said,
Thank y'all.
go like the workplace page, join the group, put your deals and your wants in the chat, and I can't wait to start doing business with y'all.
Absolutely.
I love it.
Love it. Thanks, everybody.
Thank
Go
you.
sell something. Good
Thank
luck.
you.
7% listings, everybody. Let's go.
Yeah, baby. Come on.